Water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. And that's all I know because I would always skip the intro when I was watching this show on Netflix. Hello, my name is Elise, and this is my Avatar book tag. Let me just preface this by saying, if you have not watched the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, or if for some strange reason you just don't care about Avatar, don't worry. The books I will be mentioning are just books in general that I like, so, you can just take those recs and ignore the Avatar part. But if you are a fan of Avatar, let me first say thank you so much to Darian from Darian Reads for tagging me in this tag. She said, Elise, I think you'd be excited for this video. And guess what? I'm very excited. Basically, for this tag, which was created a while ago, I think like 4 years ago, I will link the original video down below along with Darian's, and you should definitely watch both because they are both great and mention fantastic books. But anyways, this tag involves different prompts based on different characters and the 4 different elements: water, fire, air, earth. And I'm a little nervous because there are 12 prompts and I like to talk, as I've said multiple times before in other videos. So let's hope that you look at this video and say, wow, Elise, you posted a 15-minute video, because I don't want to sit here for 2 hours. It's literally almost 11 p.m. Oh yeah, technically I just started watching Avatar like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month. I finished the whole thing. So yes, I am new to this, but Avatar has consumed my life in a way that I would not like to admit, so just enjoy the book recs and ignore how much I love this show. So for each element there are 3 prompts, and the first element is water. So for the first prompt for this element, it is Katara and Sokka, best sibling relationship. And for this one, I am choosing Ariel and his sister, who I cannot remember the name of. I think she's in 5th grade or something, or she's 10 years old or something, from the book You Asked for Perfect. Their relationship wasn't a huge thing in this book, but it's a queer contemporary about a boy who is really obsessed with school and, has other troubles going on. But I really loved this sibling relationship because the brother Ariel is much older than his sister, and he doesn't start to recognize his own very serious problems about, being a perfectionist and being consumed by anxiety related to school until he sees those problems manifesting in his sister. And I just really appreciated the way this relationship played out, and how not only did this serve as a sibling bond, but it was a point for self-reflection. The next prompt is Yue, favorite star-crossed lovers. And while I'm sure I've read other books involving star-crossed lovers, because I accidentally read a lot of romance no matter how many times I say I don't like romance, but immediately when I hear the phrase star-crossed lovers, there is no one I can pick besides Katniss and Peeta from the Hunger Games, because, that was their whole thing. I'm just gonna assume everyone knows what the Hunger Games is. In a basic summary, I'm sure you are good, yes. But yeah, Katniss and Peeta, the star-crossed lovers, yeah. Next is Bloodbending, a book with a disturbing or unsettling concept. And for this one, I am choosing Hushed by Kelly York. I'm hoping not too many people have heard of this book, not because I don't want the book to be popular, I really like it, but I just want to be able to recommend something to you that you haven't heard. But basically this is about a boy, he is friends with a girl, and some really tragic things involving some other boys happens to this girl, Vivian. And the main character makes it his duty quest thing to kill anyone involved in this horrific event that happened to his friend. It is super twisted and dark. I would say it's more adult fiction. It could pass as young adult, but it's definitely more serious, and a lot happens, and obviously murder's involved, so it's quite dark. Next is the Earth prompts, and the first one for this is Toph, a character whose strength surprised you or surprised the other characters in the book. I want to choose this character somewhere. I don't know if this prompt was the best, but I still think it works. I am choosing Nico D'Angelo from the Percy Jackson series, both Percy Jackson, the Olympians, and Heroes of Olympus. I think that his strength surprised me because he is a little edgy emo bean, my favorite character in that series, and he didn't get too much what's the equivalent of screen time? Page time? He didn't get too much page time. He only got one POV. He wasn't mentioned that often, but for the very few limited times we do see Nico, you could tell throughout the series, both series, that he's just been through a lot and he's held on to a lot of anger and disappointment and unresolved feelings and conflict and angst and all of that. And I just think he is such a strong character for being able to work all of that out, especially, well, if you haven't read Percy Jackson, you won't know this, but he's not from the time period that the books take place. He's like from the past. He's technically an old man. So yeah, to deal with all these problems he's experiencing in an unfamiliar world, I just think that takes a lot of strength. And also, again, I think he has great character growth, character development. He constantly surprised me throughout the book with, again, his strength. I really think that was an admirable quality in him. Next is Tales of Ba Sing Se, a short story or a poetry collection. And I definitely have read short stories before, and I have read poetry collections, but I'm cheating on this prompt because I'm choosing a book and verse, which is technically like poetry, right? Yeah, it has stanzas, whatever. And I am choosing Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Many people have mentioned this book. I have mentioned this book. Many people, including myself, have mentioned this book because it's a fantastic book. And just for a really quick, brief summary, basically it's about two girls. Their father dies in a plane crash, and this story is kind of about how they deal with the grief and process their emotions and, you know, their own connection, because these two sisters didn't know about each other. And it's just so emotional, and the verse is so beautiful. And again, it's basically poetry because not only is it in stanzas, the writing is just gorgeous. It's poetry, and you should read it. And also the cover is really gorgeous. I do not own the hardcover, but I've seen the hardcover and it's really pretty. And a book like that definitely deserves a pretty cover. Lastly, for the Earth prompts is Kyoshi Warriors, a warrior character. I think this prompt, and actually a lot of these prompts, would be better suited for fantasy and sci-fi readers. I have not read either in quite a while. I am working on it. It'll happen eventually. But for this one, I kind of maybe cheated again too, but I am choosing Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series, both of them, because even though she's not technically a warrior, I mean, she's a fighter. She's the daughter of Athena, who is the god of, you know, warfare, and I think that's warrior-ish. Like, that's gotta count for something. She's epic. She could beat you up. Like, she's a warrior in my heart, okay? Fire. For the first fire prompt is Zuko, my favorite character. Also, just for reference, I think I would be either a waterbender or a firebender. I'm really not sure. Sometimes, if we're thinking in terms of characters, I think I'm an excellent blend of both Katara and Zuko, who are quite opposite. So yeah, if I could just have fire in one hand and water in the other, that would be great, but that's also not how it works. Anyways, the Zuko prompt is best redemption arc or redemption arc that should have happened. For this one, I think this would have been better for a fantasy book, because yeah, this Avatar is a fantasy series, but if I could choose Zuko for this prompt, I definitely would, but clearly that's not the point. But anyways, I'm choosing Frankenstein, the doctor, Victor Frankenstein, from Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. If you have not read Frankenstein, the classic book, basically the doctor creates this monster, Frankenstein's monster. No, the monster is not Frankenstein, blah, blah, blah. But by the end of the book, it's kind of unclear how he feels towards that monster. Does he feel bad for what he created? Does he want to destroy it? Who knows? So I think I'm putting that more as a redemption arc I wish happened, because I think that would have been interesting to see more of, I guess, redemption, a more forgiving side, or more realization of how he treated that monster. But yeah, that's still one of my favorite books. So, even though the redemption arc didn't really happen the way I wanted to, I still think it's fantastic. But I do think it would be interesting to see more development. But also, that's not always how humans work. Next is Iroh, my second favorite character, and the prompt for this one is wisest character. I'm choosing the teacher from the book Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock. I am blinking. I can't remember his name. I think his last name is Silverman. Yeah, basically this one is a contemporary novel. It is technically YA, although it does take a dark turn. The character wants to commit suicide, and his thing is that he wants to give a gift to every person who has pretty much meant something in his life. And I'm choosing, I don't want to say too much because this is a spoilery thing, and it's really one of my favorite books, so I'd really prefer if you just read it. But the teacher in this book is wise in the way that he is able to talk to this character, Leonard, and convince him what life is worth living for. And it's just disturbing but touching, moving kind of book, and really it's one of my absolute favorites. And lastly is The Best Downfall. This one is for Azula. And for this one, I am choosing Diana from the Gone series. I have not read the Gone series in many years, so I can't exactly remember how Diana fell. If you haven't read the Gone series, basically in this world, all the adults disappear, and it's just a bunch of kids trying to figure things out, and there's all this morality stuff, and kids get violent. I have not read The Lord of the Flies, but I am assuming it would be similar to this book. But yeah, the character Diana is definitely one of the characters where she becomes kind of evil, but it's also like, oh look, I actually have the Gone series right there, look at that. She becomes evil, but like in the way where you're like, is she actually evil? Because, you know, she's just a kid and this circumstance. But yeah, she definitely has a downfall by the end of the series, and it's emotional, and I cannot exactly remember what happened, but I remember really liking it. And lastly is Air, and the first one for this is Appa, favorite fictional pet. And I am choosing Legs from Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. He does play he plays a good role in this book, but he's Aries' dog, and he's kind of like a emotional connection between both Ari and Dante's family, and his name Legs kind of connects to this accident that Ari had with his own legs. And you know what, I will appreciate dogs in any book, so yeah, this was just one I happened to choose. But here's your regular reminder to read Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Okay, that's it. Second to last is Aang, Purest Cinnamon Roll. And yes, I am borrowing lots of Percy Jackson characters for this, but I am choosing Hazel from the Heroes of Olympus because she is the purest cinnamon roll. Again, if you have not read these series, they are great. But basically, Hazel is the daughter of Pluto, aka Hades, the same father that Nico has, and they are very much opposite, but also they're siblings. So yeah, they have such a cool dynamic, and I was going to choose that for the sibling prompt, but how can I not say Hazel is the purest cinnamon roll around? And lastly is the Avatar state, a character that is stubborn or has trouble with letting go. And I'm hesitant to say the character I chose for this because I'm choosing a female character from a contemporary, and I feel like when people say female characters or just women in general are stubborn, it always has this negative connotation. I am saying this with the greatest connotation around, but I am choosing Xiomara from The Poet X, also by Elizabeth Acevedo, and please do not attack me because of my accent. You can call me a dumb American, I really deserve it. But anyways, I think she does have that stubborn personality, but again, it's not a bad thing. It's stubborn as in she can stand her ground and she's not gonna change if she doesn't want to. She is who she is. She's fiery, but like, it's a good thing. We have to stop saying certain traits that are usually associated with women are bad, because no, she is stubborn and it's great, and I love her for that. And again, if you have not read anything from Elizabeth Acevedo, you should, because her writing is gorgeous. And this one is also in verse, but it's beautiful. If you are afraid to read verse, do not, because she knows how to write, and it's definitely worth it for the story and characters. Okay, thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun filming this. I think I had more fun just thinking about Avatar characters. But anyways, I'm going to tag a few people, and the first person I'm tagging is Gabby from Gabby's Bookish Corner, because I mention Gabby a lot and I am making her do this tag whether she wants to or not, because when I started watching Avatar, she mentioned the comics in one of her videos, and that really inspired me to keep watching and also read all of the comics. So yes, Gabby, please do this. Hello if you're watching, and if you're not subscribed to Gabby, you should be, because Gabby's awesome, and no, I will not stop talking about her. I'll also be tagging Sasha from Midnight Books. I think she is relatively new to booktube. I see her talk a lot about both Avatar and books on my timeline, so that's great, and I have watched her videos and they're really great, so you should subscribe to her too. And lastly, I'm tagging Rue from Rue's Reading Corner. I hope this is correct. I know you responded to me from one of my Avatar tweets, so I hope I was right that you like Avatar, but I love her videos. They're super fun, and I will have the links to everyone down below, because you should subscribe to all of them. Spread that love. So let's hope you